Kaufman is alive. I look at comic books new and old. Thanks for clicking on the video. I swear one of these days I'll get back to reviewing some old comic books, but today I'm looking at a new comic book, Deadpool Wolverine #1 by Marvel Comics. This is a $4.99 issue. It's written by Ben Percy. Joshua Cassara is on the interiors. I got the Frank Miller variant cover. This is a new ongoing series, which is interesting. Marvel's been putting out lots of Deadpool Wolverine content this past year. There was the Adam Kubert Deadpool Wolverine World War III series. Then Rob Liefeld has the Deadpool Team Up, which prominently features Wolverine and Deadpool. Jonathan Hickman, Greg Capullo have the Wolverine Revenge miniseries coming out right now. That's got Deadpool in it. There's a Deadpool Wolverine Extraction miniseries that just got put out in a one-shot. All sorts of Deadpool Wolverine stuff. So this is just kind of piling on. I wasn't really too excited about it because honestly, like, there's been so much Deadpool Wolverine stuff. It's hard to get excited about just one more series involving these two characters, but I jumped right in because I really love this Frank Miller variant cover. And I've seen lots of posts of people making fun of this cover, laughing at it, stuff like that. But honestly, I mean, I feel like if you don't appreciate a work of art like this in comic book form, I don't know if you really understand or like comic books. So, really unique style here. I mean, the guy's 67 years old. A freaking legend in comic books. Dark Knight Returns, created Elektra, prolific Daredevil run, Ronin. I mean, the guy's done all sorts of stuff all throughout the years. And, his pencil control probably isn't as great as it used to be, but a lot like a guy like another comic book artist from Frank Miller's era, Bill Sienkiewicz. Frank Miller's a guy that can draw a totally normal looking style if he wanted to, but he's chosen to do this abstract style. And, not a lot of rendering, very purposeful lines everywhere, a really striking style. I love the giant blades. Frank Miller draws really cool looking ninjas, so that translates well here into Deadpool. I don't want to read comic books where everything looks alike or everything looks like anime or something. I really appreciate a unique style like this. I love this Wolverine headpiece. Looks like he's got these big giant ears, I guess they might be. And his shoulder pads too. I like how they're like pieced together. They look more like armor. So a cool looking cover. I like the red and yellow too. I like the logo using the Deadpool Wolverine classic logos. They just got a slice right through the middle here. So again, this is an ongoing book, which surprised me. I was expecting this to be another miniseries, and I found out it's an ongoing book. Pleasantly surprised by that. So we start off here in this SHIELD facility. And we got these two guys who've been assigned to this SHIELD room, and they have to catalog everything. They come upon this big giant chest. They decide to open it up. It's an adamantium chest. One of the workers is like, whatever's inside, it must be important. We'll probably get a promotion out of it. He opens it up and immediately gets his head blown off by whatever's inside. And I'll just cut to the chase here. What I believe this beginning part of the story here is the reintroduction to Executioner. So we got this funeral procession going on here. Got this dude who's got some gnarly looking teeth, some perhaps adamantium teeth. Someone sends their condolences though. We find out it's Deadpool. I really love Joshua Cassara's Deadpool. He looks a little bigger, a little more muscular. But I like his frame and really cool looking mask that he draws on him. So Deadpool interrupts this proceeding. Obviously, they all point their guns at him. He jumps out the window, grabs the body in the casket, steals the hearse. These are a couple really awesome looking pages here. Just not a lot of dialogue, but just some cool storytelling here. Really fast paced book. I really appreciate that about this. It moves right along. Again, really cool looking Deadpool face here. So he drives off the cliff. The body goes flying right into the helicopter blades. Blood goes everywhere. This isn't even a red band Marvel comic, but we got no shortage of blood. They're not holding back here at all. So Deadpool, he's got the teeth. I assume that's what he was after here. But then something goes off on his eye there. And we come back to that later. We've got Logan. He's at the killer rack at a Canadian bar here. There's a mutant getting picked on. This guy thought he was manipulating the air while they were playing darts. Turns out he can actually control the metal darts. So they're about to beat up this mutant. Of course, Wolverine steps in. Wolverine in his element here in a bar fight. But that's when Deadpool shows up. You see the little gleam in his eye there. And his speech bubble here also, it's got blue font on it as well to kind of let you know maybe that's not Deadpool necessarily talking. Because earlier in the comic, when it is Deadpool, it's got black font on the speech there. So Wolverine just kind of looks at Deadpool there. I love Joshua Cassara's Wolverine along with his Deadpool. They picked a really great artist for this book. Honestly, of all the Wolverine Deadpool books that have come out in the past 12 months, I really got to give my nod to this one. I think this, artistic wise, has been my favorite one. So if we're comparing them. So Wolverine, he doesn't really know what's going on here. He's just willing to follow along with Deadpool to kind of figure out what Deadpool's up to. And Deadpool's going to fly this plane right into this other building here. And Wolverine says, that ain't happening. Deadpool says, we ain't got time to discuss this. And he starts shooting Wolverine, chucks him out of the plane. And then Deadpool parachutes out. And the plane flies right into that building there, blows it right up. Wolverine's hit the ground here. We see over these 3 panels each hour as he heals, which is kind of cool. Deadpool's stolen a Winnebago here, and he says they're exactly where they need to be. So this is where all the, the plot kind of kicks in. Things get kind of confusing, get kind of muddled here. You don't really know what's going on. As, Wolverine has no idea what's going on either. And they're in front of these 2 tombstones here that have James Howlett and Wade Wilson written on the tombstones. We get a positive identification, Wade Wilson, executioner, it says. And his eye kind of flashes and it opens up this secret passage below the tombstones here. Then Wolverine feigns being injured, says he needs Deadpool's help, but then he just takes that moment to stab Deadpool and rips his eye out. And then Wolverine explains, Deadpool's on autopilot, something's controlling him. Nanites is my guess. His veins must be swimming with them. Now that I've cut him, I can smell the stink of silicon and the burnt of ozone of an old computer. So he realizes Deadpool's being controlled here. We get the X-Mentions, which show all the upcoming X-Men books coming out. We get some questions with some of the creators and all the X books here. This entire checklist. There's like, how many X books? There's got to be almost 20. That's crazy. So Wolverine, he says the executioner, that's what the system identified him as. He says, I thought that was dead and buried. And then he pulls out this canister here. It says Legacy Reborn. And if you know anything about the Legacy virus, that was like the virus that killed mutants back in the late 90s. Looks like they've got some of it here, possibly in storage. And I don't even know where they are. They're in this like secret hideout. And Deadpool comes to here. He asks Wolverine, he says, "Where are we? Is this your secret sex dungeon?" Wolverine's like, "I'm glad you're feeling like yourself, but then I'd be lying." And Deadpool finds this costume and puts it on, of course, shows off his butt. But then a couple grenades get thrown in there and blows him up. And that's when Wolverine comes face to face with his old partner slash sometimes adversary, Maverick here. I always liked Maverick. He's a pretty awesome looking character. He's got a cool looking mask. They both ask, "What are you doing here?" Maverick explains he's been recruited by One, which is the operation of, what's it called again? They say it right here at the beginning of the book. It's the Office of National Emergency, ONE. So Maverick, he's working for them. Wolverine says that's messed up because they're trying to control mutants. Deadpool just interrupts and shoots Maverick. A fight breaks out here. That's when Deadpool says something really odd to Wolverine. He says, "You are no longer an executioner." And then he punches Wolverine and just flies off. I'm assuming using this suit must have some sort of jetpack system or something. So then we get the reveal that Deadpool is some sort of Manchurian candidate working for Strife here. And we get a brand new look for Strife, the return of Strife, this alternate Cable from the future, which is, the original X-Force storyline that Deadpool kind of came from. So Strife says, "We've been waiting a long time for this, haven't we? A long time." So a lot of intrigue setting up at the end of this first issue. I really like this issue a lot. I love the artwork in here. It's a really fast-paced moving story. I love the way Joshua Cassara draws Deadpool and Wolverine both. And they don't hold back with anything in this book at all. So I like everything it's setting up. I like that we got the return of Strife. So I got to give this a big recommendation. Thanks again for watching. I do post daily comic book reviews, so please subscribe if you haven't yet. And please like the video. And that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.